And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Monday, October 17th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
And welcome everyone for tuning in to Coleman and Company on this brisk Monday morning. We're getting a little taste of fall, about 45, 48 degrees, something like that. Maybe a little fog. Got some rain overnight, but we needed it. We needed some rain. And folks that tune in to Coleman and Company always know that on the leadoff segment, advertising segment for the Monday morning, we've always got absolute Kubota, and we're going to have alternating months on here. You know, it's either going to be T.R. Kirby or Don Hamlin. We got Don this morning.
All right.
How are you feeling?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I can't complain. This rain is something we haven't seen for a while. How's that affected y'all's?
We needed it, because it's fall of the year is the grass growing season. It's way better to try to grow grass in the fall than it is the spring. Spend a lot of time trying to educate people and argue with them about that, but it really is the best time of the year to try to grow grass. And I'm sure everybody that had got out and aerated and overseeded was glad to see the rain in the last 4 or 5 days. We got a couple of showers, I think, so That's great.
Not a lot of rain, but whatever we could get, we needed some because it was dusty.
Anything, just if it just misted some would have been great. It was really getting dry.
Do you run across many people that plant ryegrass or winter wheat
to
keep the yard green?
Yep. There's some people that want to do that. Most of our people just go with a good fertilizing aeration to get oxygen down into the soils. And then they just use we have a triple blend fescue, a tall fescue. It's not the Kentucky Clump 31 that everybody fusses about that just grows in little pods around your yard. This is more of a segmented type grass that's just gonna stay good and tough. And the reason you want to do it in the fall is so that your roots, it'll grow all winter.
Right.
We don't have really harsh winters here. So your grass will grow all winter, but it not only grows up, the root system grows down and gets deeper into the soil. And so next year in June and July, when you have your dry season start, they're more drought tolerant.
Right.
So that's what you're really looking for.
Got a better root system developed.
Absolutely.
But y'all sell the seed and fertilizer down there.
Yes, we sure do. We've got it all there. We'll rent you an aerator, whatever you need. We got you. We'll get you fixed up down there.
Well, it's, I was not going to say where I was, but there was a business in town, and then I was picking up some feed or fertilizer, and there was this little tiny little dark pellets looking thing. Tiny. Looked like almost as small as a tobacco seed. And I asked him, I said, what is that stuff? Like a bag he busted open. And they said, oh, that's whatever. And he said, that's for those people that like to mow the yard year round.
There you go.
But
I like for it to look pretty. I don't care anything about mowing it. Looking pretty is important.
But as far as setting a person up for equipment to mow their yard, whether they're a private landowner or whether they're a commercial mower, y'all got them all set up there.
Oh, yeah, everything's there. Everything's good. Still a lot of 0% financing on everything. We've got tractors. I know there's a couple of pieces of construction equipment. Absolute Kubota, we now sell construction equipment since we moved to our new location, which is almost been 2 years now, I think. I think it was November the 1st when we moved down there. And so, you can get your good construction equipment. I'd like to take this opportunity to remind everybody, don't wait until next April when all your neighbors are trying to bring their lawnmower in and everyone's wife is fussing at you about your yard needing cut. Bring it in this winter. Just drop it off. Go ahead and get your service done. Don't wait.
No rush.
No rush. You don't need it.
Yeah.
So what's a rush? If it takes a week or so to get it back, it's no big deal. But that way you're not getting fussed at next spring when you actually do need it.
Well, that gets into the service part and also the parts department for people that have their set of wrenches and maybe feel a little
That's
ambitious.
Right. And as far as parts goes, if you want to do it yourself, it'd be the best time to come in, get your oil and your filters, your hydro oil, get all that stuff done this winter and get it done yourself and park your lawnmower. It's not going to hurt your oil for it to set in your lawnmower. You may go to the auto parts store and get some oil this summer. It may have sat on the shelf all winter. So why not just let it set in your lawnmower and be fresh next spring? Keep your battery charged up and ready to go. Another little tip, don't set your lawnmower battery on concrete floors.
Why not?
It will drain the juice out of it.
Out of a concrete floor?
Sure, if you set your battery. So set it on a piece of wood. I suggest everybody to get a trickle charger.
Yep.
Keep your battery on a trickle charger. I used to do that with my motorcycle. That way next spring, when everything comes up, lawnmower fires up and you're ready to go.
Well, you've taught me something right there about
There you
not
go.
setting the battery
Yeah,
on the
do not want
concrete.
to set a battery on a concrete floor in the garage.
Well, you know, I'm a customer of y'all's, and y'all have always treated me well down there, you and TR and the rest of the folks. But I know where you are, but tell folks who maybe don't know where you are.
That's a good idea. We're at 1506 West Main. We're open Monday through Friday. Right now, we're open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Through about the third Saturday of November, we will be open from 8 till 12 on Saturdays.
Okay.
So starting sometime, I think it's the third Saturday in November. It's whenever Thanksgiving weekend is.
Right.
From there through probably about the first week of February, we'll be closed on Saturdays, but 7 to 5, Monday through Friday. Telephone number 615-449-6171. Webpage, Absolute Kubota, Kubota. A lot of people can't spell Kubota. I used to have, when I first started there, I had a sign on the wall. I'd have to look up at it every time I'd go to spell it. But it's Kubota. Get on there, a lot of different information.
Well, you know something, after the big win Tennessee had Saturday in Knoxville, there's probably some people that would like to get them an orange tractor.
They would. We got orange tractors. We have red lawnmowers. We have yellow lawnmowers. So we've got all different color pieces of equipment. We'll take care of all the different colors that you may like.
Well,
So
that's the old NASCAR saying, win on Sunday, sell it on Monday.
let's hope.
So, well, listen, Don, thank you for your sponsorship, and thank you for being you and TR being out here every Monday to talk with Coleman or whoever else is sitting in the seat. And with that, we'll move on to our next segment. And Coleman leaves notes when he goes on special assignment. And he said, be sure to say at the beginning of this segment that this is a paid political program. And with that disclosure, and I'm also supposed to say it at the end, Sean, so remind me to say that.
Absolutely.
We have Sean Hicks, who is a candidate for the Lebanon City Council, Ward 3.
Absolutely, yes.
And we just met when we came in this morning, so we got to chat a little bit before we went on the air. But you were out here a couple of weeks ago, you said, and with Coleman, with the A team, as I like to call it. And but you're out. Election day's coming up. Early voting's about to start, so this is getting to be crunch time.
It certainly is. Early voting starts on Wednesday. And then, of course, you know, we have the big election day on November 8th. So it was amazing how fast this summer went by, and the fall's clipping by just as fast. It was interesting. Our your first guest there, John. I put in Absolute fescue seed myself 5 years ago when I redid my lawn, and I can attest, you have to mow it all year round. Of course, I grew up in southern Indiana and lived in Chicago and the Michigan area.
Right.
So I wasn't quite used to mowing my grass in November and December. I was used to snow blowing my lawn so my dogs could have a place to go wander around the backyard. So this is new for me. I've been down here we bought our old house at auction 10 years ago, and took us a couple of years to get it in good shape.
Right.
And so we've been living here about 7 years full time.
Well, you said we. When you say we, who are we talking about?
My wife Lori and I,
Okay.
wife of 33 years this year.
You better get that right.
Yeah, I better get that right. June 10th,
Congratulations.
June 10th, 1989.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And actually, we're blessed to also have her parents living with us.
Okay.
One of the great things, and one of the reasons we picked Lebanon to move to, was we needed a place in a good climate. Her folks had retired to Arizona about 20 years ago, and were enjoying the warmth and the sun. And when we asked them to move in with us in southern Michigan, they were quite adamant that they did not want to come up there and freeze. So I was working at that time with a company in Hermitage. I currently do information technology, data analytics. So I was working remote. So we have an office here in Hermitage. So I decided, well, if we move down to the Nashville area, would you move in with us? And they said, oh yeah, that'd be perfect. They had spent 10 years in Memphis at the tail end of his career.
Okay.
He was a career mechanical engineer with DuPont.
Okay.
I think he was with them over 37 years. So this house worked out perfect. It gave us a nice big 1 acre lawn. Well, you're my neighbor over on Castle Heights, and we have good sized lawns in Ward 3.
You don't make them like that anymore.
They sure don't. And so it worked out well. We were able to build an in-law suite for them. They'll be 90, 91 and 92 next month.
Okay.
And I'll get this wrong, but I believe they'll be married also 64 years. Wow. I could be wrong. I may get it when I get home at breakfast this morning. But it's been great for us to have them there and, get out, putt around in the yard. My mother-in-law was just out pruning roses last weekend, getting them ready
Good
for
for
fall.
her. Good for her.
Yeah, she's a feisty West Virginian, and she usually beats me up. And today, though, I was first up because I couldn't sleep. I'm excited about what's going on here in Lebanon in general. It's a great city. There's so many wonderful opportunities, not just in Ward 3, but all across our city.
Well, when we come back from the break, that's a good teaser right there to come back and pick up on what you see as a vision for the city. But we're going to get a traffic report and a word from our sponsors.
All right, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Bates Ford and the Lifetime Brake Pad Guarantee. With the purchase of a brake service, replacement brake pads will be provided at no cost for as long as the customer owns the vehicle. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's pretty heavy right now on 24 coming in from Rutherford County. It's been busy out in Rutherford County for at least the last hour or so. We saw a slowdown on 24 going eastbound. As you head towards Joe B. Jackson, just give yourself extra time for traveling 24 through Rutherford County, headed towards Coffee County. Again, there's a little bit of a slowdown there on the interstate. Attention dentists. Dental Staff School can provide you with qualified dental assistance. Google Dental Staff School for more information. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Fall is here. Shop Springs Creamery invites you to their fall festivities on the farm. Grab some fresh ice cream and enjoy the corn maze, shell corn pit, dummy roping, and the corn cannon, happening September 16th through October 30th. For more info, visit shopspringscreamery.com. For fresh ice cream, fall festivities, and fun for the whole family, make plans to visit Shop Springs Creamery 4 miles off I-40 towards Watertown, September 16th through October 30th. Happy fall, y'all!
Fresh off a bye week, the Titans are back at Nissan Stadium to host the Indianapolis Colts. Our coverage begins with Titans Countdown at 11 a.m., then a kickoff at noon. Mike Keith and Dave McGinnis call every snap this Sunday.
Brought to you by Fakes and Hooker, Bates Ford, Steve Mall Plumbing, the Jewelers, and the City of Lebanon Gas in Tennessee. 811, call before you dig.
This is Wilson County's home for real country music and the Tennessee Titans. Real Country 98.9.
Exmark builds mowers that deliver a perfect cut in less time. Because we believe what you get out of your lawn, not your mower, is what matters most.
Find signature cut quality, comfort, and reliability. Exmark's Laser Z is the zero-turn more landscape pros trust. Find attractive financing and the Exmark that's right for you at Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main in Lebanon.
Exmark, official mowers of the backyard life.
Welcome back to Coleman and Company. Barry Tatum sitting in for the Coleman Walker, the A-team, who's on special assignment. But from what I understand, he's wrapping things up and will be back here shortly for all of those who are having Coleman withdrawals. But we're talking with City of Lebanon Ward 3 Council candidate Sean Hicks. And before we put to the break, you were talking about your vision for Lebanon, about the positive things that you've done. So I think it's always good for anybody who's running for office, either the first time or whether they're an incumbent seeking re-election, is to give people a reason to vote for you. So this is your opportunity in the next 12, 13 minutes to tell us that.
Sounds great, man. So I'd like to kind of start off with kind of who I am. You know who I am as a person. I moved here to Lebanon, and I live here, and I'm going to continue to live here. We actually, when we built the additions and things to the home, we built it so my wife and I could age in place. Because I'm 58 years old and I've already had a hip replacement and a knee replacement in December. So things are not going the right direction for me. So stairs are not my friend looking forward. But professionally, I kind of want to point out, I'm a 30-year business professional, business and information technology professional. So I haven't spent time in real estate, banking, developer, any of those kind of things. I've been managing teams anywhere from 20 to 450 people since I was 23 years old. I started off in sales, worked in manufacturing, distribution, accounting, and I wound up in IT about 2009. And that's kind of where I really found my love, was data management, data analytics. And I've managed teams from all over the world. I worked with developing teams from Hyderabad and Kiev and Argentina. Currently, I work with teams in Sweden and Madrid, all out of the comfort of my own little house here in Lebanon. Thank goodness to Zoom technology. But I've learned a lot from the different countries and cultures and people. And it really is that diversity matters, and collaboration is the most important thing. We can't fight each other. We can't be going out there working at ends when we're trying to find the same common ground. And I think that's really the key. My fiscal budget responsibility, I've been responsible for budgets from $9 million to $125 million a year. So I know how to manage money. I know how to get things, done, and especially in capital plans. And I'm really hoping that my diverse background kind of uniquely qualifies me to be a good asset to the council, someone they can kind of bounce ideas off of, so we can again work together and make that happen.
Just out of curiosity, where did you said between $9 and $125 million budget in the different entities? Where does Lebanon's city budget stack up? I mean, I don't know what the dollar amount is.
It kind of falls right there in the middle.
Okay.
That 50, 60.
Okay.
Actually, and growing every year, right?
Right.
Our revenues grow, which is phenomenal, but also our costs grow.
Right.
As we're building and developing, we have that infrastructure that we need to support and maintain. So I just think I'm in the sweet spot there.
Okay.
I think I understand the struggles that you have, when you have kind of flexible revenue, especially most of our revenue comes from sales tax and property tax. And sales tax, as we know, can go great when, during COVID, everybody's shopping online.
Right.
And then as we were moving into this, I hope not recession, but I think we're already there. Interest rates are climbing, things are gonna soften.
Right.
And that revenue is gonna respond, unfortunately, the wrong way for that. And I think that's the key piece. How do we keep investing in our current and while keeping our eye on the future? And then that's a fine balancing act. I'm running for Ward 3 because I want to help represent the citizens. I'm 100% self-funded. I kind of determined, I have lots of people wanting to donate to my campaign. I said, you know what, I'm going to run 100% self-funded so I can pretty much kind of say I have no conflicts of interest. When I sit up there in that seat, I'm 100% for the residents of the ward. And I think serving as councilman is a public service. So I'm going to be donating my council salary every month to a food bank or food pantry in our ward. We have several. The Methodist Church does a phenomenal job, not only with their food pantry, but also Meals on Wheels. St. Francis Cabrini right down the street from me, they have a great food bank program. And I think, that's the key piece is we are a community of neighborhoods. And that's why we moved here. And speaking of those neighborhoods, I've knocked on just a little over 900 doors in the last 2.5 months, gone out every night, all day Saturday, took the rest on Sunday. Actually gave the residents a rest from me on Sunday so they wouldn't have me knocking. And I think I got 25 houses left to do. I'll be out again tonight and tomorrow night trying to wrap those up. And I've heard some consistent messages. And I think the 3 consistent messages are, please invest in our current neighborhoods. Ward 3 is the oldest. We have a historic district, which, we're a part of.
Does it include Cumberland?
Yes, sir. But it goes from College Avenue to Castle Heights, Bedore in the north, and all the way into the country, all the way down to Barton Creek.
Okay.
A lot of territory there. But it's one of the older parts of town. I kind of call Ward 3 the heart of Lebanon. Because that's kind of where, all the different places happened. Just look at the names of the streets: Hatton, Tarver.
Yeah.
Actually, Benjamin Tarver's wife owned our property at one time. We found that out when we were on historic home tour a couple of years, working with Kim and Tracy Parks,
Right.
with Historic Lebanon. But so neighbors have told me, please invest in our current infrastructure. Please stop kind of infiltrating the high density into our neighborhoods. So what we're seeing in Ward 3 is this shift toward what they're calling revitalization. And a lot of it's just driven by economics. Housing prices are up. So if you can buy an old house cheap, tear it down, build 2 or 3 houses on it, you can make a lot of money.
Seen that happen throughout Lebanon.
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think people should make money on their property. I think developers, should make money. I mean, we need those people. I mean, at one point, in June of 1912, people were framing my house. And I know that because I found 2 2x4s signed by the carpenters, June 12th, 1912.
Wow.
And on the window frames on the inside was written Fakes and Hooker. So when I went to replace my windows, guess where I went? Fakes and Hooker.
They weren't still under warranty, were they?
I don't think they were under warranty. That's why they had to be replaced. But one of the key pieces that I also heard, and this kind of surprised me that it was as strong as it was, but then it didn't. And that is, please help create community resources that our children can readily access, either at no or low cost. And I think one of the interesting stories was I'd gone up to a house, knocked on the door, handed them my little flyer, and they were like, "Oh, thank you very much," and they closed the door. I got about halfway down the driveway, and a young man came around the side, and he said, sir, can you stop for a minute?" And I said, "Absolutely." And he said, "Hi," he gave me his name, and he said, "I just want to talk to you." He said, "If you're running for council and you want to do some positive good in this community," he said, I want to tell you a story." He said, when I was in middle school, I got recruited into a gang. And he said, that was the worst experience of my life. And he said, and I managed to get free of that. He says, it's hard.
Right.
It's tough. And he said, I've got 2 young kids now. And he says, I need things for them to do in this ward that we can afford. He says, they may not want to play soccer. They may not want to do some of the sports programs. And even some of those sometimes are expensive. I know we have a great rec league where the cost is lower and kids of all types can get involved. But I heard that from not only from him, but other people. We have children who don't necessarily have a focus on sports. What are some of the other things that they're interested in?
It could be art, could be music.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I know as a kid, I was kind of an athlete by default because my dad made me. I grew up in Indiana. And when you're born in Indiana, your dad hands you a basketball and says Bobby Knight or Gene Cady, That tells you how old I am. Yeah. But I also did art. I also did music. And all those different things really helped. And so as I heard that, I really feel, and I've kind of got a plan in my mind I've been working on. And so if I'm elected councilman of Ward 3, I got something I want to share with the people. I think it's going to use some of our existing resources, because we have some great resources here in the city. Mm-hmm. It'll take some more investment. Everything does. But I think we can bring real youth programs that will really help impact all our youth in the city, because that's what's truly important. The kids are our future. And if we can get in front of them, get with them, whether you're a coach, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a mentor. I spent years mentoring young IT professionals through internships, and I've coached Little League football and basketball. I think all those things are very, very important. And I think, when we make investments, we made a $38 million, we're going to be making a $38 million investment in the sports complex. That's fantastic. We need a place to play soccer. That's a pretty big ticket item for soccer. When Bernie Ash purchased that property down there, I went up to him and said, "Hey, congratulations, man. That's awesome. Go mow that grass and move those kids tomorrow. I'd love to see them off the airport." And then it stalled, and we haven't seen that. And I was just reading through some news earlier this summer, and Murfreesboro just approved $350 million for what they call their Legacy Sports and Entertainment Park. Now, on top of their huge facilities they have today, this is going to have more multiple sports facilities, 6,000 seat outdoor arena. We don't need to be competing with Murfreesboro. Lebanon's not Murfreesboro.
Right.
We're different. Our kids play soccer. They don't care if they're on grass or AstroTurf or wherever else. They just want to be on a safe area. And I think that's the key. If we common sense it, focus on those things, I think we can really make a difference and let the community be heard. And we're here, people talk, and I think that's what's really enjoyable.
Got about a couple of minutes, maybe a minute and a half to kind of wrap up. I didn't know if there's something else that you wanted to touch on that maybe constituents pointed out or concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the big things is taxes, right? So the current council person said, I think in her last conversation here, that she wouldn't raise taxes over the next 4 years. I sure hope we don't have to. Well, we all remember a guy back in the 80s who I think said, "Read my lips, no new taxes."
Right.
And that's a dangerous, slippery slope. We don't like talking about it, but we have to face the possibility that when you're spending money, and Lebanon has been spending money at a pretty good clip here. We got some debt out there, we're spending some money, all this growth. Sometimes those things are not cannot be avoided. However, I think with my background in fiscal responsibility, I can help kind of guide and maybe be part of some decisions that can kind of slow that roll a little bit. Let our revenue kind of keep up, especially through these next few years. It's going to be tough. We may have to tighten the belt a little. And actually, you know, and in summary, I just like to say I have the experience, I have passion, I have commitment, and I really want to serve Ward 3 and its residents. I ask for your vote. I promise I'll work diligently, and you know, for you, the residents, not special interest. And as my campaign thing says, I'm in it for you. You know, let's work together and let's keep Ward 3 a great place to live.
Well, listen, I want to thank you for taking the time to be here today. Stepping out and becoming a candidate for any office is a huge challenge.
Yeah.
People don't realize that.
Yeah.
And it takes an awful lot of work to do it. So I commend you for doing that. Wish you well. And I appreciate your enthusiasm and recognition about our young people
Thank you,
because
sir.
they are our future.
Absolutely.
And with that, I do want to say once again, per Coleman's instructions, that this has been a paid political program purchased and paid for by Sean Hicks, candidate for Ward 3 City Council. And with that, it's halfway through the Coleman and Company segment on Monday, and MJ's got her headphones on, so it's time for a traffic report and a word from our sponsor.
Thanks, Judge. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks, Absolute Kubota, where premium brands require premium parts and service. Contact Absolute Kubota, Elite Certified Service Department to schedule an appointment. 1506 West Main, 449-6171. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Pretty heavy right now in the normal spots out here, if you want to call it that, on 24 westbound up through the Hickory Hollow area. You got all that traffic flow coming in from Rutherford County into Davidson. Wilson County traffic still holding up. It's just busy coming past Belinda Parkway on 40 westbound. Again, as you come from Lebanon into Mount Juliet, lots of radar spotted earlier, I-40 through Dixon County. Hey, Olbrich Gatlinburg Restaurant and Lounge is celebrating Oktoberfest between now and the end of the month. Don't miss it this year. It's gorgeous up there. Check it out at olbrichgatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chunk with your on-time traffic.
Do you know why Rocky Williams Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Mount Juliet sells so many cars, trucks, SUVs, and muscle cars? Well, it all starts with a simple idea. Why not give everyone a hassle-free shopping experience for their new or used vehicle with no haggling, no negotiating, and no runaround? Every vehicle on the Rocky Williams lot is marked down incredibly low with the price posted on the window. You're treated with fairness and respect every time. No pressure, just a friendly, warm, inviting staff dedicated to finding the exact vehicle you need. So Rocky Williams Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram has become the original no-haggle, one-price dealer. Go online to rockywilliams.com to see the incredible deals yourself. Every car and truck is listed with a no-haggle low price. This is for real, and you're gonna love it. People drive for miles to get some of the lowest prices in America on their new or used cars or trucks. Go to rockywilliams.com or come on over to our brand new spacious dealership next to Walmart in Mount Juliet.
Contact Stephen Lowry Land Clearing for all your land clearing needs. Whether it's clearing trails for ATVs, reclaiming pasture, or clearing your land of brush and trees, Stephen Lowry can get the job done. He works closely with customers, adjusting to make changes as you want. Steve Lowry will give you quality work at a price that you could afford. He will also beat any written estimate. Call Stephen Lowry at 615-970-8154 for all your land clearing needs. That's Stephen Lowry Land Clearing, 615-970-8154.
Local elections matter. That's why Phil Moorhead is running for Lebanon City Council, Ward 6. Neighbors and friends speak up for Phil.
This is Rebecca Dozier. I served on our HOA board with Phil and was always impressed with his commitment to doing the right thing for our neighborhood. Sean and I met Phil and Joe when they moved across the street and consider them friends. We'll be voting for Phil Moorhead.
Vote Phil Moorhead, Lebanon City Council, Ward 6. Paid for by Phil Moorhead per council, Mac McCluskey, Treasurer.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Cumberland University football is back in action this Saturday, October 22nd, as the Phoenix hosts Lindsey Wilson at Noakes Lassiter Field. This is Christian Opposey of the Cumberland Sports Network inviting you to join Bob Lee and myself this Saturday. Pre-game coverage begins at 5:30, leading up to a 6 o'clock kickoff, right here on WANT and WCOR. The Lindsey Wilson Blue Raiders meet the Cumberland Phoenix this Saturday at 6 o'clock here on WANT and WCOR.
A cool and sunny start to our month.
Welcome back to Coleman and Company. Barry Tatum sitting in for Coleman, who's on special assignment, but from what I understand is back in town getting his notes together and getting debriefed about his experiences somewhere. And maybe we don't need to discuss that anymore. It's maybe classified. But second segment on Monday mornings, and has been for years, has been Rocky Williams, premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram of Mount Juliet, formerly of Lebanon, but a constant throughout all of that has been Billy Mullinax, general manager. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Well, I'm doing all right. It's a little brisk with no hair.
Yep.
That affects me next, but I realize I need a hat.
Yep.
But excited about the ball game turnout Saturday.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to?
I did watch just about all of that.
Yeah. Well,
it was good.
Yeah, well, you must be a Georgia fan then. they put it to Vanderbilt, put the wood to them, but there was another ball game.
There was.
That's one
there was another one.
It's are there any orange cars at Rocky Williams that y'all are going to have a special on today?
Well, we probably have a couple of orange vehicles, but they're always at our great low, no haggle price, Judge.
Well, that's the thing about that, and the new way of dealing with cars is you come in and the sticker is what you see, that's what you pay.
Yep, and it's a great price. This day and time, it's a lot different than what it was, say, 40 years ago before the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Just about any information that people want is on the internet now. Some of it may not be true, but there's a lot of information there.
Are you saying something on the internet may not be?
I'm saying it may not be true. But everybody, I say all that to say most people start their shopping experience online. They're comparing multiple vehicles. People don't visit as many dealerships as they used to visit because they're doing their research online. They don't have to.
Right.
And so we have to, we don't just put a price out there and say take it or leave it and, just take this price, because it has to be a price that other dealers really don't even want to get to, because we don't have the ability to negotiate, and they do. So if you don't start with a great price, all somebody's got to do is call another dealer and say, well, Rocky Williams has got it at this price. And they say, okay, I'll beat that by $500 or $200 or.
Yeah.
And so we have to put a very, very competitive price right from the start, a price that other dealers, that it's not fun for them if they want to take that deal. And because of that, we don't make as much per vehicle as a general rule, but we sell a lot of cars.
I was about to say, you make up for it by how
that's
many
right.
you sell.
It has to be done in volume, the way we do things. But people love it. It's a great way to buy, and it's a great way to sell, because it takes the stress out when you have non-commissioned salespeople that don't make more money because you pay more money, which is traditionally the way things are done in this business. And so you're always wondering if that salesperson really has your best interest at heart, or if they got their paycheck at heart. And where our salespeople are non-commissioned, their job is just to find you the right vehicle that fits your needs, that you like, and it fits in your budget.
I don't buy cars very frequently. The one I'm driving right now, I think, is 20 years old.
Yeah.
But, when the times that I have negotiated for cars, and, you get a general manager or
Yep.
somebody come in and they say, boy, you're really hurting us. You're really hurting us. I never felt bad, like I'd hurt them coming away from that because I didn't believe it.
Right.
And but one of the slogans, not only the no haggle pricing, and everybody pays the same price. One of the things that y'all come up with is you price your cars, you price your vehicles, and not your customer.
That's right.
I think that's an outstanding concept for business. That if you come in and you say, at a store, if you're buying a bag of potato chips or a loaf of bread or whatever the case is, a sack of potatoes, they don't say, oh, this person's driving a newer car, they're dressed well, the price for you is this.
Yep.
It's the same price for everybody. It's up to the customer to decide whether or not they want it or they can afford it.
That's exactly right, and we've just made things so simple. And you're exactly right. If in this business, typically, if you know somebody or if you're a dignitary, you typically are going to pay a little bit less money than somebody that doesn't know anybody walking in off the street. And we've just taken all of that out and just priced our vehicles fairly, and that's the price that I'm going to pay. And that if Rocky, and he has bought a vehicle not too long ago for a grandson, and Rocky paid exactly what was on the windshield. So.
Well, tell us, for folks that are listening, I'm sure they know you're on the easy side of Mountain Juliet.
The easy side on the.
And where do you turn off?
600 Pleasant Grove Road. We're right next to Walmart and Academy Sports. And most people, Judge, they start their search online at rockywilliams.com. You might even see your neighbor there.
Yeah. And I think Coleman's actually been a customer, y'all.
Coleman is a customer, yes.
Well, that right there speaks volumes because...
yes, it does.
Like I said before, Coleman may not have the first dollar he ever made, but he knows where it is.
Yeah, that's true.
All righty. Well, Billy, thank you for your time. Thank you for your sponsorship every Monday, and wish you well. And you'll get the real deal here next Monday when you come back.
All right. You have a good day.
All right. You too, Billy. With that, it looks like we've got about 19 minutes before the hour coming up, and we got the segment before the county commission meeting, which is occurring tonight, and we always have Mayor Randall Hutto. Good morning to you, Mayor.
Morning, Judge. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm sure you're doing well because we got some good news out of Knoxville on Saturday.
Well, it was a good time.
Were you there?
We did get to go.
You did?
I never go normally, but it worked out to where I was able to carry my Alex and Brett and my son-in-law Jackson.
So you had some help tearing
wife.
down the goalpost.
We did. And I tell you, I was telling the guy this morning way here, we got down there on the field and grabbed a hold of that goalpost as it come down, but the crowd got so heavy, I'm thinking, I can't breathe. And the guy said, well, you're just telling your age now.
Yeah.
And you had to fight to get out of there, but it was a wonderful time.
Well, it was, and I watched the replay of it, but I listened to it on the radio.
Yeah.
And they really know how to get you wound up on there, and they're homers too. So
oh yeah, for sure. We watched it on the way back. Alex had a TV in his car, and so we watched the replay on the way back, which made the trip a lot shorter. But it was a good time.
Well, this is a first because I've interviewed you out here when I was sitting for Coleman. We got Miss Sarah here. What are you going to be on the air, or are you just?
Just for a minute. The mayor was nice enough to give me just 1 minute of his time this morning, if that's okay.
All right. Well, MJ's giving me the finger back there that you need to move over here to where this microphone works. It was the index finger.
It was index finger. That's what I was going to clarify.
She's
there.
number one.
I do. Tennessee wins. She might use that middle one.
And it was the index finger. I'm sorry about that.
I thought she may be wrong.
I apologize to Mr. FCC about that, nonetheless. But you said y'all are sharing some time here. This is a good time before we go to the break. What you got?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor Hutto, for giving me just a minute this morning. I appreciate that. It is time once again for Wilson County to participate in Governor's Volunteer Stars Awards. It's a program that we participate in every year. It's actually a state program that started in the governor's office, I want to say around 15 years ago. Our office has participated in at least the last 10 years of it. Great program. We're able to recognize volunteers in various organizations and different things that they do around the county. The state does that as well, recognizes both a youth and an adult volunteer in each of the counties that participate. Wilson County is a little bit different in that we recognize everybody. If someone nominates you, we're going to recognize you. You may not necessarily be declared the winner that the state recognizes, but we want to make sure that everybody knows what you're doing for the community, what you're doing for neighboring counties. It doesn't just have to be in Wilson County. You do have to be a Wilson County resident, but you can volunteer anywhere. It's a great way to honor someone's efforts and the things that they do, but to also open doors and provide opportunities for other people to get involved.
So what's involved of getting nominated or getting recognized for this?
Sure.
What does a person have to do?
Really easy process. There's an online application. You go through our website, which is wilsoncountytn.gov, and there's a section in the middle. We've revamped our website. If you go to that middle section under Wilson Spotlight, you'll see the GSBA logo there. Click on that, and there's a direct link to the website. You can fill it all out online. Very short and easy application.
Mm-hmm.
If you have questions about the program, have trouble with the link, don't want to fool with doing it online, would rather do it on paper, just call the office, and we'll get you through it. No problem at all. Applications are due on Monday, November the 7th, and that's because that gives the committee just one more week to look at all the applications, declare the quote-unquote winner for the state, and then start making our preparations to recognize everyone.
But it's you're talking about there's not only is there going to be a state level a winner for each county, and I'm assuming a statewide winner, but Wilson County was wanting to recognize all the folks that have put in some volunteer time.
Yes, sir. And, and we've done that since we've been a part of the program, even before I started with the mayor's office. Now, the state, they won't declare one winner for the entire state. What they do is they hold a very nice banquet. It's usually somewhere in Franklin every year, and they just recognize all of those volunteers that were nominated by various counties.
Right.
Because not every county will recognize everyone. That's just something that Wilson County chose to do because we think
We got
they're all
great
worthy.
people.
We do, and I'll tell you, it's every year the committee struggles trying to pick a winner. There was even one year we called the state and said, "Can we have two?" Because we just cannot decide on which one. So it's a great problem to have, though, and we know we've got the volunteers. We just need to hear about them.
So any more information they need, feel free to call your office.
Absolutely.
Telephone number?
615-444-1383.
1383, and then you can go to the Wilson County TN.gov website, and it's on there. Just follow the directions.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I wanted to get that information in. Mayor, yes, sir.
Can you tell them what happens to the people that are nominated, the winners? Because I know you have a sponsor, and maybe they go to a banquet or whatever.
Yes, typically what we've done in the past, of course, everybody that's nominated or is declared the winner is going to get a plaque that's usually sponsored by Wilson Bank and Trust. Very nice plaques. They look really good. The only difference in them is one will say winner and one will say nominee. That's it. Other than that, they're exactly the same. We invite those folks to come to the office, take a picture with Mayor Hutto and with our sponsor. We put a press release out. We put information on social media. We really try to make a big splash for it.
Good.
The ones that the adult and the youth that are declared quote unquote again winner, typically we try to make sure that they are invited to Lebanon Wilson County Chamber annual meeting that they have every year and recognize them because we want to get them in front of as many people as we can to make sure that people know, hey, look, this is what's going on. These are some of the great things we've got going on in our county. Good time for you to get involved.
So it's a good way to recognize the individual for their volunteer time, but also the organization that they are doing the time with.
Yes, everybody wins.
All right. Super. And with that, MJ's not going to give me the index finger or anything else, but she's got her headsets on. We'll get a word from our sponsors and a traffic report.
Thanks, Judge. And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Absolute Kubota. Where premium brands require premium parts and service, contact Absolute Kubota's Elite Certified Service Department to schedule an appointment. 1506 West Main, 449-6171. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning in Hendersonville. We've got this crash over to the side. Vietnam vets right at Gallatin Pike. It's already heavy through there. Again, it's not blocking traffic, but it's just heavy and slow traffic at times here. Inbound, that's westbound Vietnam vets at Gallatin Pike through this stretch of Hendersonville up here in Sumner County. Heavy, big time here on 24 and through the Hickory Hollow area. A little bit of radar on I-40 through parts of Wilson County this morning, too. Be careful. Attention dentists. Dental Staff School can provide you with qualified dental assistance. Google Dental Staff School. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Good morning, Lebanon. This is Camille Burdine, Lebanon City Council person for Ward 3, asking for your support for re-election. Over the past 4 years, I have stayed true to what you have asked me to do. Expand our parks and recreations for our youth and families, bring in livable wage jobs, upgrading and expanding our infrastructure, sidewalks and roads, and bring in more retail and restaurants. I'm asking to please get out and vote this week. Camille Burdine, your positive voice and your choice for Ward 3.
Paid for by the committee to re-elect Camille Burdine. See Tracy Parks Treasurer.
4 years ago, we elected an unlikely man as governor, Bill Lee, a businessman and farmer, not a politician. He felt he could make our lives better, and he has. Bill Lee has maintained a steady hand. He's exactly the type of governor we need for 4 more years. Governor?
You turn on the TV today, and it feels like the world's gone a little crazy. But not in Tennessee. I'm proud of the work we've done the last 4 years. America's fastest growing economy, America's lowest taxes, a lot more skilled trades. We've put families first, like we said we would. And I think we're just getting started. Being your governor has been the honor of my life, and I'd be honored to serve again. Paid for by Bill Lee for Tennessee, Fred DeCosimo, Treasurer.
Hi, everybody. Tommy Bryan. Join me, along with Harry Stafford, Bob Lee, and Joe Gardner, as we bring you Lebanon High School football. Brought to you by Bates Ford, Bakes and Hooker, K. Maynard Insurance, Lebanon Police Chief Mike Justice, Wilson County Sheriff Robert Bryan, Kenny Salas, Sports World, and Wilson Bank and Trust. Lebanon travels to take on Gallatin Friday, October 21, pregame at 6:30, WANT and WCOR.
Welcome back to Coleman and Company. We're on the downhill stretch right now with County Mayor Randall Hutto, and just heard about this Governor's 3-Star Volunteer Awards program that's being recognized, and I appreciate you giving Miss Sarah some time to do that. But what we do typically on this Monday of the month, third Monday of the month, is we talk about what's coming up on the County Commission meeting tonight.
We are, and I do appreciate Sarah and her work there. That's kind of a 12-month-a-year job working on that. And, you know, it is a vital part of government. Government cannot do everything, and definitely we don't do a whole lot in certain areas. But the Governor Volunteer Stars Award really puts a spotlight on the people that fill in the gap. You know, because we don't have volunteers and organizations and nonprofits doing things that need to be done here. You know, there's a big gap between a good quality of life. So I'm thankful for Sarah and what she does there, and she has taken it on and done a tremendous job. I will give you a quick overview of the commission meeting tonight. And before I do that, I'd just love to remember the family of Brother Donald Owens, a longtime pastor at Emmanuel that passed away this week. Was my pastor for a long time. And,
he was preaching a revival at Garda when I accepted Christ.
Yeah. He's just, you know, he never slowed down, and even in his latter days, he was doing what he wanted to do. And
fell sick at church.
No question, he got well done, my good and faithful servant, when he got there. But just want to remember that family. Tonight will be our second commission meeting of the new commission, and we had a good meeting the first time. And we'll meet at 6:30 to begin with, though, to elect a chairman and vice chair for the Finance Committee and the Insurance Committee. Commissioner Jeremy Rich will have the prayer and pledge for tonight. We do have one item on the consent agenda, which the Sheriff's Department has a line item transfer. We do have a rezoning tonight. One public hearing will happen. The property is located on 2050 Gwen Road. It's in Commissioner Evans's district, and so he'll give us a nod on that one way or the other. Galen Wilson will be there to talk about Wilson Rides, which is that senior ride program done by volunteers again, and also talk about the license plate that hopefully will be a lifeline blood for their funding. Corey Watson and Aaron Wilson will be there also to we've got one little thing that we're trying to secure, and I'm sure they've probably been to your place as well, Judge, on our email list. That way, if somebody tries to get into your account outside of your original computer, it will give you a notification, and they would also have to have a code that they wouldn't have to be able to get in there, so another good security measure there. We have 2 members, excuse me, that will be appointed to the GIS board, Commissioner Beth Bowman and Commissioner Blake Hall. Board of Equalization will be filling 1 person there. I had an alternate, Mr. Russell Neal, that will be asked to be moved up to be a full-time member to take the place of Commissioner Blake Hall. We learned through the conversation that you cannot be a government employee and be on the Board of Equalization. So he had to step down, and we didn't find that out, really, to be honest with you, to tell you a bad on myself, until we said, okay, he's a commissioner now. Can he serve on that board? And as we looked at that, a commissioner could serve on the board, but you can't serve on there if you're a government employee, and he is a teacher. So that alerted us to that problem.
Is that an old provision that they have in place? Or?
I do not know. It's in the TCA.
Okay.
Just it's one of those fine print things that you didn't read going through, and it,
not until you have to look.
Not
for
until
it.
you have to look for it.
I guess what they're looking at is you want to be neutral and unbiased if you're looking at the equalization issues for taxes purpose, and they figure that if you're on the food chain, so to speak, somewhere about government revenues, that you might have a conflict.
That's exactly right. I think that is a great point. That's probably the main reason. Yeah. It is a quarterly report tonight, so we'll have a few extra people there. Resolutions tonight, we have a TDEC grant that we got from them to administer to the utility districts within the county. So we got $4,579,000 to go out to those, and so we'll file that grant. Christy Willie in our office will take care of that. We got another tourism grant for $403,000 that we'll get to administer through Jason Johnson's tourism department. Finance department has a lease agreement with a copier that all those have to now, because the comptroller have to come before the county commission, so we'll have that one. The Board of Education has 2 amendments to be approved tonight. Tourism has an agreement also on a lease for a copier that will have to go. We have a DUI grant the Sheriff's Office gets for $23,360. I always love to hear those when their money's coming in from somewhere else for us to spend.
Any of these requiring a match?
No, they do not, and so that is a great thing. Yes, sir. Good question, too. Spay and neuter grant that would come from animal control for $1,100. It's not much, but it's still a little bit there. Additional appropriations from the general fund to go into veteran services to even out some funds that they need there. Accounting procedures to be done in the rural debt service of $152 into rural debt. We have a lot of appropriations, additional appropriation for juvenile services. You may know about that one. Accounting procedures for the general debt service for the $151 to go into general debt. Both of those I just mentioned to you are just accounting issues that have to be reconciled within our budget. Appropriation for the general fund to go into the drug court. And we have also appropriation to go into the animal control fund. We have 2 resolutions that come from the state. Sorry. Too much holler this weekend. These resolutions here are from the state. They require no funding from us, and of course, everybody pays in state dollars through sales tax and different other areas there. But so the 2 roads that are under question here is the widening in front of West Elementary, that little section of 70 right there where it always backs up. That should start construction here in the spring of 23.
That whole stretch needs to be wide.
It does, and it is on the docket, by the way. And right now that's there. Mount Jude's kind of helped with that with doing the engineering from Tri-Green out to Bender's Ferry, where people come out and turn right to go to Mount Jude High School. That is already underway as far as the engineering and buying the right of way. And then the section from that we're talking about here that will happen in the spring. And then, of course, you got 2.9 miles, believe it or not, from Bender's Ferry all the way out to 109 of that Highway 70 section that we have sent to be funded. Engineering studies are being done. Of course, funding is the key for that. As you talk about Central Pike from Old Hickory Boulevard down to South Mount Juliet Road that goes across the new interchange that's going to happen in Central Pike, that's $88 million. The engineering, the right-of-way, all of that's been done, but they've got to find the funding. The new interchange has been approved. It's on a 7-year window with the Federal Highway Administration.
Where Central Pike crosses I-40.
Where Central Pike crosses I-40. It's $34 million. So, getting 109 done, which I know you have property out that way, was a big deal and was on the docket for a long time as well, but we didn't have the funding until Susan Lynn and those folks got the Improved Act done, and that really helped that. So there's still Improved Act funding out there, but these are still looking for funding. And so I say all that to say that section of Highway 70 that I always get questioned about, why has that not been done, Mayor? there have been a lot of projects that I just told you out there that are being done in Wilson County, and a lot of times it goes back to the cities. 70 was on there for a while, and Mount Juliet said we really need South Mount Juliet Road done, and so they transferred that money over there to do that one. So we're hoping that gets done sooner than later. The biggest issue on that one as well is that there's power lines on both sides of the road. So when you try to widen the road that only has it on one side, it's a little bit easier because you can take the right of way on that side without the power lines and widen the road. But when they're on both sides, whole lot of investment involved there.
And I think there's also at least one gas transmission line crosses that, and maybe two.
Okay, and that's above my pay grade. But
another thing, just driving out there and seeing it.
And then another state road that we'll sign a resolution on today is a widening of, if you know where Central Pike is, right after you leave Providence and you go to that first red light, that's Central Pike.
Yes,
From Central Pike back in towards Providence to Providence Way, they're going to widen that section as well.
Boy.
So that's another good one that needs to be done.
Needs it.
And then we do have the approval of a bond for Commissioner Bobby Franklin, which was just added to the Road Commission. And that will conclude our meeting tonight.
Well, you did all of that in about 10 minutes, and I suspect your commission meeting is going to go a little longer than that. You're expecting a long meeting?
There's probably 20-something resolutions, so it will go a little time tonight.
Okay.
And a lot of times, I don't know how many controversial issues there are here, but as you said, a lot of the grants receiving money, we're not having to spend
You're not
money.
going to have any opposition to those, I wouldn't suspect.
No, sir.
Not much debate.
And it's good that we covered this today because we know that Coleman and Mike will not get anything covered tomorrow.
Well, that is, not Coleman. It's going to be Larry Tomlinson.
Larry Tomlinson.
Larry
That's right.
Tomlinson and Mike Jennings are going to be here in the morning. It's going to be an orange wave again. So don't know how we're going to do that.
We'll win 52-49, I bet again, though.
Well, it's it helped that Alabama set a record for penalties, too.
There we go.
So,
Yeah.
people
Well-
talk about that we've gotten the bad flags from refs before, but they was definitely throwing them on Bama.
Yes, sir.
Listen, Mayor, thank you for being so prepared
Yes, sir.
and articulate and explaining things so that I can understand it and hopefully everybody else can. And if you ever get a chance as a citizen of the county, drop in and watch a county commission meeting or a commission meeting or a committee meeting. It's really informative and government working for you.
I'll be real quick, but I got to brag on you and the job that you do in our court system. You handle tough situations every day. There's never an easy situation that comes before you, so I appreciate what you do. It's just a blessing to have you in our system.
That $10 was not for that.
No, sir.
Listen,
for a hot dog.
Thank y'all for tuning in to Coleman and Company, and be sure and tune in the morning to get the latest word on the UT Alabama ball game.